World War II was a conflict where artillery often determined who controlled the battlefield. Some weapons were built for mobility, others for raw destruction, and a few became famous simply because of the fear they created. Across the war, several artillery systems stood out for completely changing how armies fought. One of the Soviet Union's earliest attempts at modernization was the M1902/30 field gun. Its roots dated back to the Imperial Russian Army before World War I, but instead of replacing it entirely, Soviet engineers upgraded the old design during the 1930s. The weapon was far from perfect, yet Soviet crews learned how to use concealment, smart positioning, and disciplined firing tactics to make the aging gun surprisingly effective. Germany later deployed the enormous 21 cm Morser 18, a heavy artillery weapon created mainly for destroying bunkers and fortified defenses. The gun was incredibly powerful, capable of firing huge shells over long distances with remarkable precision. However, its massive size created serious problems. Transporting and preparing the weapon for battle required significant time and logistical effort, making it difficult to adapt during fast-moving operations. As fighting spread across the Eastern Front, the Soviet Union depended heavily on the M30 122 mm howitzer. Thousands were produced because the design focused on simplicity and mass production rather than advanced engineering. Reliable, durable, and relatively easy to manufacture, the M30 became one of the Soviet Army's most important support weapons throughout the war. Germany's Luftwaffe-18 howitzer reflected the country's emphasis on precision and highly trained artillery crews. German gun teams were skilled at calculating fire missions and adjusting shell impacts with impressive accuracy. Still, the weapon had one major weakness: it was heavier than many competing artillery systems, reducing its mobility and making rapid repositioning more difficult during combat. The Soviet ML-20 took destructive power to another level entirely. Firing massive 152 mm shells, this artillery piece could demolish defensive positions and even destroy heavily armored German tanks under the right conditions. Its ability to serve both as long-range artillery and a direct-fire anti-tank weapon made it one of the most versatile heavy guns used during the war. Meanwhile, the United States introduced the M114 155 mm howitzer, a weapon engineered for dependable performance in almost any environment. Whether operating in deserts, tropical jungles, or muddy European battlefields, the gun proved highly reliable. Large-scale American manufacturing also ensured thousands were built, helping Allied forces maintain consistent artillery support across multiple theaters of war. But artillery was no longer only about precision strikes. The Soviet BM-13 Katyusha rocket launcher transformed bombardment into psychological warfare. Mounted on trucks for rapid movement, Katyusha batteries could unleash huge salvos of rockets within seconds. The terrifying sound of incoming rockets became infamous among German troops, who often described the attacks as chaotic and deeply demoralizing. Accuracy mattered less because the system's real purpose was saturation and shock. Germany's legendary 88 mm flak gun also earned a fearsome reputation during the conflict. Originally developed as an anti-aircraft cannon, its high velocity made it devastating against tanks as well. Allied crews quickly learned that the German 88 could destroy armored vehicles from long range with deadly efficiency, making it one of the most respected weapons of the entire war. The American M101 105 mm howitzer demonstrated the value of balance over sheer size or firepower. Lightweight and dependable, it could be transported through difficult environments where heavier artillery could never operate effectively. In the jungles of the Pacific, this flexibility made the M101 an essential weapon for American forces. At the top stood Britain's famous QF 25-pounder, often referred to by British troops as the Queen of the Battlefield. Unlike many artillery systems of the time, it successfully combined the characteristics of both a field gun and a howitzer. Fast-firing, accurate, and highly maneuverable, it allowed British and Commonwealth forces to react quickly during battle and engage targets from multiple directions with exceptional efficiency. These artillery weapons were far more than pieces of military hardware. They reflected the industrial strength, tactical thinking, and wartime priorities of the nations that built them. Some relied on precision, some on overwhelming firepower, and others on terror and speed. Together, they became some of the most influential weapons of World War II. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing history and war technology content.